Hello, my name is James Learoyd and this is my video review for Holo, directed by Alexander DeSouza. This is a short science fiction film which is very, very good, and it is a proof of concept short film that's a little over 10 minutes with the hopes of it being made into an 8-part miniseries. And it tells a very intriguing story of some kind of institution in a kind of future world in which people who have lost loved ones can go and get to interact with some version of this past person who is no longer alive. But this individual they're seeing is really an actor playing this role, and we get to see both sides of the story. One side is the actor working for the service, preparing for the role, and then performing that role, and then the other side of the perspective is the individual who has gone into this institution with the hopes of sort of emotional fulfillment of some kind by confronting this person from their past. The main character we're dealing with is someone who has lost their partner, and we come to realise that this partner had been very abusive. And so while most of the film takes place in this one strange room which is divided in half by this technologically advanced glass, the film actually begins in this sort of waiting room area in this futuristic institution, which is very, very cool to look at. It's this kind of modernist, sort of giving a bit Blade Runner 2049. It's very yellow but pristine, and you've got all this diffused light coming from above, and from a design point of view it's quite an achievement, just this one opening location. And the film as a whole is really beautifully shot. It's got a wonderful soft feel about it, and with really rich colours, but everything's really perfectly balanced. This is you can tell this is a very professional production, and yeah, it's a stunningly lit film. I think it's interesting that this film was made as a proof of concept, because it does feel very self-contained and really impactful as just a short form piece of sci-fi, and I think that's a really good sign that it works really well on its own in isolation, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't also make for a really strong long form piece of entertainment, because in terms of the story and its themes and the characters, actually there's a lot to delve into and a lot to mull over really after you've watched the film, because it asks some very deep questions about, you know, the ethical implications of a service like this existing. I personally also was constantly thinking, you know, how much does each character know about what's going on? You know, maybe the actor in the film who is wearing this kind of mocap suit looking thing so that they can play the characters that the others want to confront. I was constantly wondering how much do they know about what's going on, and morally do they feel okay with what they're doing, or are there some deeper questions there to be explored? So I can imagine that being very interesting in any future longer episodes, and the woman who comes in to confront this abusive ex-partner, maybe she is not aware of the way the process works. Maybe she doesn't know that it is specifically an actor doing their best to portray this individual. And I think that's really, really interesting. So you've got a lot of layers to it. And another thing to note is, on a level of entertainment, you're both, as an audience member, you're both thinking about, oh, how interesting ethically this whole situation is, but you're also quite entertained by the fact that you know that this is an actor portraying what it is, in their eyes, a character that they've never met before, and they just have to embody. And it's almost like you're watching like a play within a play in that way, and you start to think about it on a level of like their own craft, and think, wow, what would it be like if I had to perform in that way in front of this one-person audience behind this anonymous glass pane. Conceivably, however, one issue that an audience might have with the film is that we have seen concepts like this explored before. You know, there are lots of films out there in which technology is used to bring back a loved one, and the film explores the superficiality of that dynamic. However, what's unique about this film is the characters and their very strange interplay. So while the concept overall is not incredibly original, everything to do with the cast and all the technical departments is of a really high standard, and that's what is unique about the film. And these are characters with very interesting contradictions. Both sides have very intriguing contradictions. So that is what makes this film very strong and very engaging to watch. So Holo, I recommend. It's very, very good indeed.